Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I'm here to talk about my goals. It is my monthly goal check-in video where I share how all of the goals I set for the prior month went and what all the goals I have set for the upcoming month. I love this video. This is just one of my favorite videos because I love to talk about goals, let's be honest. And I hope that this continues to bring you value, even if your goals are different than mine. I hope that you still get value from seeing me try things that work and moving things from month to month and switching things up and bringing things back, and how all of those little baby steps fit in towards me making progress towards my big goals. That's the biggest piece of it, y'all. That is like the biggest key to goals that I have found is baby steps. Little steps add up over time, and it's amazing when you watch them do that. So let's get into this video. We have a lot to talk about today. Overall, I felt like May was pretty good. During this time, it's just hard because when I sit down to set my goals, I have all this motivation and all this inspiration, and I'm just excited. And then day to day, that goes away. Day to day, I'm less excited about things. And that's always the case. Like, there are always gonna be days where I'm not feeling as inspired or I don't have as much energy, but man, right now it feels like that is happening more often than not. And so there are a lot of things on this list that did not get checked off, and that's okay, because there are a lot of things on this list that did get checked off. So let's start with the monthly action items. The first one on here was to organize my stickers and washi. And I colored this in part of the way because I did the stickers. The stickers are all organized and it feels so good. I have struggled with how to organize my stickers that work best for me for so long, and I think I finally have a system that works for me and that is going to allow me to use up my stickers more frequently, which is what this goal was all about. The goal was to organize my stickers and my washi so that I can use it more frequently. The washi I'm still working on. As of the time I'm filming this video, it's not done. I'm hoping that I get it done by the end of the month. I'm not carrying this over to June, which I'll talk about more when we get to June. And so if I don't get through the washi, it's okay. I will probably put it on a future month, or just maybe even add it to my to-do list and not make it like an actual goal anymore, because it's still something that I want to do and something that I still think will provide value to me. The next one was the week in the life, and this one got partially shaded in as well because I did this somewhat, but I also haven't finished it. So I did the actual week in the life prep day, which was awesome. I talked all about that in a weekly vlog. And then I did the actual documentation. So I took pictures during a week in my life, and that was great too. What I haven't done yet is the actual crafting part of it. And that's another thing that I may not get to by the end of the month, because there's just been days that I didn't do anything. And so my time has been all over the place, and some things have to get pushed and some things are more important than crafting my week in the life. But I have it all documented and actually typed up in a Google Doc with all the different pictures and what goes with what day. So I think if I don't get to it this month, it's okay. Like, I'm not gonna forget what happened that week to be able to document it. So I'm not giving myself too much pressure if I don't get it all the way colored in. But at the same time, the purpose of the goal, yes, while it is to do the documenting and to have the pictures, the actual crafting part of it is so relaxing for me. And that's like one of my favorite parts. So I really hope that I do make time to finish that before the month is up. And so you might see it on a future goal list. I didn't move it to June because there's so many other things going on, but it's still something I want to do even if it doesn't happen by the end of the month. The next one was 2019 photos. And I did none of this. When we get to the daily section, when I talk about my daily habit of going through photos, I started that and I got through some, but I didn't even remotely get close to touching 2019. So you will see that definitely got carried over to June. The next one was to work on the wedding website. And I kept confusing myself because I know it's color coded and it's the wedding color, but every time I looked at it, I was like, my Plan with Lakin website, it's the wedding website. And I didn't do any of it. And that's okay. This was just one of the things that got pushed and didn't happen. And in fact, it was one of the things I didn't actually plan time for it. If you watched that video, I ended up putting time for the hotel, which wasn't even on the goals list. Like, I was very confused whether I was doing the website or the hotel. And in retrospect, the hotel needs to happen before the website because that's part of the info that goes on the website, but regardless, it didn't happen and it's getting moved to June. The next one was to update my hashtags that I use for Instagram, and I did that. I spent a couple of hours going through hashtags and picking ones that I feel like fit my brand and fit my audience, and just it worked out really well. The way that I learned how to do this was by watching an Instagram TV from the content planner, and she talks all about her hashtag strategy and how she approaches it, and I basically just did the same thing. The next one was to work on my online course that I signed up for, and I did this. This was stronger at the beginning of the month than it is now. This was one of those things that when I was on my game and I was feeling excited and motivated, I would log in and I would do a module or two, and so I have made progress on it. I'm not gonna finish it. I don't know that I ever thought I was. I don't know. Maybe I need to go in and look at actually how many hours of content are part of this online course to see if it's even feasible to finish in a given month. But I did make more progress than I have in any prior month, and I'm really proud of that. The last one on my monthly action items was to go through our recipes and kind of organize them and mark off recipes that we actually want to try. And I haven't done that yet, but as of the time I'm filming this video, it is only May 24th, so I am still hoping to get to this by the end of the month. If I don't get to it though, again, this is also not the end of the world. This is something that would be nice to have. It's kind of like the sticker organization. It's something that would help me in my other goals, the goal of, focusing on my physical health and eating better, but it's not something that has to be done. And that's, I think, one of the hard things about the tending list in general is you're putting things on here that don't have to be done. And so when other things pop up, it's hard. It's hard to stay accountable and stay motivated to actually doing these. So some of them it was easier to do than others, and that was one of those ones that just got pushed off a lot. All right, let's talk about the weekly action items. These went pretty well, I think. So the first one was to have a dance party, and I wasn't specific last month when I talked about this, and I probably should have, because I think I gave myself a little bit of leniency with this. Like if I danced to one song in the shower, I counted it as a dance party. But really what I did was I made a dance party playlist, and I'm trying to listen to it more often. I would put it on while I was cooking. I would put it on when I take a shower, getting ready, which is not that often, but when I do get ready. And so I did find myself like dancing and grooving more. I think if I were to do this in the future, I would switch it to more of like a dance class. In fact, the dance company that I used to be a part of here in the city is offering virtual classes for $5 a class, which is pretty reasonable. I mean, obviously it's virtual, so you have to have the motivation to go. So maybe I will try that. I'm not doing it for June, but it was fun for me. The next weekly action item was social media free Sunday, and I wasn't perfect with it, but when I do commit and take a full day off of social media, it's mind-blowing. I'm so productive. I am in a different headspace. I have different thoughts. Like, it's just so interesting how different I feel when I'm not spending as much time picking up my phone and checking social media and checking apps, etc. So I really love that one. And even though I did a good job, you'll see we are carrying it over to June because I want to keep going. The next one was to have a salad every single week, and not just like a side salad, like a salad that's part of a meal. And we did this. I'll admit we cheated a little bit where we ordered like pre-packaged salads and like the bags with all the fixings. Like, I mean, we still ate the salad, but I didn't go out of my comfort zone to actually like create any kind of new salads, which is fine. That wasn't the goal. The goal was to have a salad as a meal, and we did that part of it. I would love to go back to the salad a day challenge that I did in August of last year, but that one definitely requires me to be eating out a lot more than I am right now, which is not really all that much. So that is definitely a goal for not this time in my life. And then the last weekly action item was to send letters to friends. And so I basically took my list of friends and I split them up over every single week. And I wasn't as consistent about this, but then I played catch up. So just because I didn't send them every single week, I still sent letters to all of my friends, but I just kind of lumped them together towards the end. I liked this one. I like sending letters just because I didn't like how structured it was though, which is weird for me. Normally I'm very much about the like it being a system and a structure, but I think I would rather this just be when I felt like it. When I thought about somebody, I would pull out a card and send it to them. And I think one of the ways that would make this easier is if instead, normally I keep all my letters in one of those little black boxes back there, and that's fine when I know I'm going to specifically look for something, but I think I would like to keep some just generic ones already stamped, already with my return address label here at my desk, and then it would be easier when I randomly think of someone to just kind of jot it down. All right, now let's talk about the daily action items. So these were hit or miss. 5 of the 6 I was pretty good, except for 1 week where I just like didn't do anything, but for the most part 5 of the 6 I was pretty consistent, and 1 was kind of a disaster. So let's go through them. The first one was brushing my teeth early. So I meant brushing them right after dinner. And the days that I didn't do this it was one of 2 reasons. One was I forgot. Like I just literally forgot to do it. And so I think the solution to that one is maybe having an alarm go off on my phone at a couple different times in the evening that say like, go brush your teeth. That way I am more likely to do it earlier. The other The other reason that I wouldn't do it early is because I was enjoying an adult beverage and I didn't want to stop enjoying it to then brush my teeth right after dinner. So I don't really have a good solution for that other than not drinking as many adult beverages during the week, which when I talked about this goal was actually part of it. I was hoping it would help me, but instead I was like, I would rather take the lack of check mark my power sheets and continue and enjoying this wine. So to be determined on that one. The next one just didn't even work. I did it 3 times total this month, and that is reading before bed. And I talked about this in a weekly vlog too, and I can't figure out why this doesn't work for me. We just like to watch TV before bed, and it's a really ingrained habit that we have. And I can't figure out if there's something else that's gonna have to happen or if I should just give up and stop trying to force it. So I'm not gonna carry this over to June because I'm just not going to force it. And I've just kind of given up on this habit for now. But I don't want to. I want it to be something, maybe what I need to do. Now, see, this is why I love this video, because I talk and these ideas come to my head. I need to start with it being not a daily habit. Maybe I need to start it with being 1 night a week. We don't do it. And that night is like I read before bed, and then 2 nights a week, and take my own advice when I talk about baby steps. Maybe jumping into it being every single night, even if it was just every single weeknight was my goal. I need to start with it being a weekly goal. Now I kind of wish I'd put that on June. All right, the next one was to follow a social media plan that I set for myself. And again, this one was pretty good. You'll see this like dip in habits in every single one of them for this 1 week that I was in a weird funk. And so I fell apart there, but it didn't have anything to do with the plan being bad or the habit being bad. It just, that whole week kind of was a wash. But otherwise, I think this was really good, and I stayed on top of it and I really liked it. And I am planning to carry this over to June exactly the same way and not making any tweaks because I think it worked. The next one was going through my photos, and this one also started off strong and then sort of fell apart, and I don't really have a good reason for why other than I got sick of doing it. I think maybe this is something I shouldn't do every day because it's just not that exciting to go through and delete duplicates and organize the photos in your phone. It's something I need to do so badly, and so I am carrying that over to June kind of, but not as a daily habit, that's for sure. The next one was to write in my journal and do my I am statements every day, and I was pretty good. I was pretty consistent with this one, which I'm really excited about. I think I'm gonna switch up my statements for June because I'm just kind of sick of the ones that I have, but I am planning to carry this over, kind of. We'll talk about that when we get to June. And then the last one was to drink 5 glasses of my water every single day. And this one was hit or miss. And this is the one that I was sharing on Instagram, so I thought it was gonna be better. But there were just a lot of days that I gave up and just couldn't get through 5. But here is what I'm thinking. Even though, if you look at my power sheets, I didn't do a great job, I probably still drank more water this month than I did the prior month, because even if I didn't get all 5 glasses, I usually got through 4, and that was better than what I was doing before. So even if you can't really tell on my power sheets, I still think I did a really good job in general with my water intake. All right, let's turn the page and move into June. Before I start talking about my June goals, I need to update you on something. You may have seen this in the weekly vlog or on Instagram. We have relocated for the month of June. So as much as I love New York and I love our New York apartment, it was just getting a little bit cramped. So we went down to my parents' second home on the coast in Texas so that we could have some more space and some sunshine and some water and some outdoors and have a little bit of change of scenery. So I'm so excited to get down there. Obviously, I'm still in New York when I'm filming this, but I'm very excited to get down there, and we will already be there by the time you're seeing this video. But I wanted to update you on that because some of my goals are very specific to the fact that we're down there. There were some things that I probably wanted to put on but couldn't because we're not here at home, and then there were some things that were just really appropriate for being down there. And one of those things is the quote that I put at the top of June. So my encouraging words this month are: adaptability is about the powerful difference between adapting to cope and adapting to win. So I've talked about this before, but usually I go back and do the encouraging words at the end. And what I really started searching for with this encouraging word section this month was the word flexibility, because I knew that I was going to have to be flexible with my goals this month, and just because there's a lot up in the air being down at the coast house, and so I wanted the word flexibility. Well, I could not find a quote about flexibility that I liked. So then I went to thesaurus.com and started looking at synonyms for flexibility, and that's where adaptability came up. So then I searched quotes about adaptability, and this was the first one that came up, and I just thought that it was perfect, because I think that a lot of times especially as an Enneagram 3, if you can relate, or if you know about the Enneagram personality test. I am all about winning and achieving and goals, and I am like, how can this achieve this, and how can I finagle this to win, or whatever winning looks like to me. And sometimes you just need to adapt because it's what's best for you as a human and as a person. And that's what going down to Texas was for us, is adapting to cope, and adapting for our mental health, and adapting for what was going to make us happy. Even if it wasn't the greatest option for my goals, it's the greatest option for my mental health. And so the quote just felt perfect. And then for the top priority for the month, I put the word relax, because I want to just enjoy that time. Like, I'm still gonna be working my 9-to-5 job. I'm still gonna be putting up videos. I'm still gonna be doing a lot of the same life stuff that I do now, cooking and cleaning, etc. It's not vacation, but it's definitely going to be more relaxing. And so I wanted to remind myself of that. So let's get into the monthly action items. I will say that I have an action item related to all 8 of my quarterly goals, which I'm really excited about, because some of them I almost kind of just wrote off since we wouldn't be here at home, but I made it happen, and I have at least one goal that goes with every one of my overarching goals. So the first 2 are both Plan with Lakin related, and the first one is website updates. So I am doing some updates to my website. I'm actually working with somebody who's helping me do the technical side of it, but there's also a lot of work that I have to do to help her. So that's the first thing on my list, and she's actually starting work in the middle of the month, so I need to do all my work at the beginning of the month, which I'll talk about more when I get to the calendar section of this video. But I am excited to make some updates to the website. So that is the first goal, is to do all the back end work that I need to do to help her do her technical part of it. And then the second one is, again, the online course. And the reason I'm not getting specific is not because I don't necessarily want to share with you what the courses I'm doing. I'm not sure if they're really applicable because they're very specific to me, but also for this month, I might do more than one. I signed up for another one, which I probably shouldn't have done until I finished the other one, but it was one of those ones where they were closing the doors, and so you have to get in, or you can't get in ever, and it's not ever, but I wanted to get in, so I signed up. So I might try and do both at the same time. We'll see how that works. That's one of the reasons why I didn't get specific. And this is also one of those goals, though, that I am going to have to be flexible on, because I don't necessarily know how my schedule is going to shake out during the month. And so this might be one of those goals that kind of just gets pushed to the side, and I have to be okay with that. All right, the next 3 are all wedding related, which I am excited about. I'm hoping that, we can spend some time working on the wedding while we're down there. So the first one is to figure out the hotel block. This is something that has been on my list. I'm not expecting people are making reservations anytime soon, but I know that May is a popular month to get married, and hotels probably fill up, so I'd like to get a hotel block reserved. The second one is to update the wedding website, so carry that over from May. I want to get the website updated with our bridal party and all of those things, so that when we do send out our save the date soon, the wedding website's all ready to go. And then the third wedding goal is to start our wedding registry. I said start because I'm not really sure if we're going to be able to finish it. I know you can do a lot online, so we might be able to finish it in June, but I'm also not putting the pressure on us that we have to finish it in June if we want to continue. But I'd like us to at least figure out which stores we are going to register for. I would love any tips or recommendations for this. If you have any suggestions for stores to register at for weddings, I would love any advice, but we definitely have to get going on that. We've already had a couple of people ask us for it, so I am hoping that we can get that going in June. And then my last monthly action item, surprise, surprise, is to go through my photos. And I didn't put a year on this. I didn't put a timeline, because I just want to go through some of them. And if I make any progress on the ones on my phone, that will be great. I would like to get through all of them, but I don't necessarily see that happening this month. So I just want to continue to make progress on going through those photos. And I gave this goal the memory keeping color because it's kind of related to memory keeping. It's also related to a lot of things. I think it'll be good for my mental health if my phone's a little bit less decluttered in the phone section. It's also good for Plan with Lakin, for me to be able to find photos that I want to post on Instagram, etc. So I'm hoping to make some progress on the photos, but we'll see. All right, let's talk about the weekly action items. So the first 3 are all mental health related. The first one is a carryover, and that is Social Media Free Sunday. I want to continue this for as long as it takes for it to be a consistent habit. Obviously, in an ideal world, I'm also spending less time every day on social media, but my personality really does well with an all or nothing situation. That's just works well for me. So having one full day off is, I think, really good for me. The next two are something that is really specific to the fact that we're going to be down in Texas, and that is to spend some time outside, both on Saturday and Sunday. And I'm not getting specific here because if it is just sitting on the back porch and reading a book, that's spending time outside. If it is going for a walk together, if it is going out on the paddle boards, it's going kayaking, whatever it is, spending time outside. Like, we are going down there. One of the main reasons is so we can spend time outside with nature that isn't crowded with other people, which is all it is in New York. And so I want to take advantage of that. So the goal is to spend some time outside. I mean, every day I would like to spend at least some time outside, go have a cup of coffee out there. But on Saturday and Sunday, I'd like to spend a significant amount of time outside. And that might be hard if it's super hot or super rainy. And so it probably won't be perfect, but if it happens more often than not, I think that will be really good for my mental health. And then the last weekly action item is one you've seen before, and that is to do a face mask every week. So I'm planning to take some face masks with me, and so I want to keep up with that. It's good for my skin. It's also good for using up my face masks. I think it's also good to just have some time where I kind of relax and don't do anything, and it'll probably force me to take a bath. I didn't actually write take a bath, but I typically do face masks while I take a bath. So I think that that will be really good while we're down there. All right, let's talk about the daily action items. I was a little bit ambitious again this month and did 6 daily action items, but a lot of them are repeats and things that I've done before. So it shouldn't be that difficult to do all 6 of them. I'm saying that now, but who knows? I didn't want to cross one of them off. Let's just put it that way. All right, the first one is to have a cup of tea every day, which I think I did in April, and it was awesome. And in April, I wasn't specific. I had a cup of tea whenever I felt like it. And I could have it in the morning and have a caffeinated cup. I could have an afternoon cup, or I could have a bedtime cup. I didn't get specific here either, but I'm really leaning towards I want it to be an afternoon cup of tea, especially during the weekdays. I want to have my coffee in the morning, and then I want to have tea in the afternoon, and I want it like that to be my afternoon thing that keeps me going with work. I have found myself a lot, if I don't have an afternoon meeting, man, I hit an afternoon slump hard. And so I am hoping that an afternoon kind of tea pick me up will be good. I didn't write afternoon on here, partially because there's no space, but also I didn't want to limit myself to that if 5 p.m. hit and I didn't have my cup of tea, that I automatically don't get the check mark. I'd like to still be able to have an evening cup of tea and check that off. Okay, so the next daily action item is a routine goal. And I'm kind of going off the path here because my overarching Q2 goal was to focus on my evening routine. And while I do want to do that still, and my evening routine is still important to me, since we're moving locations, establishing my morning routine down there is really important to me, especially because we're changing time zones, especially because we're changing structures and where things are and where lights are and couches and tables, and just like everything is different about my morning routine, that I don't want to lose what I have now with my morning routine, with my journaling and my reading. I want that to continue to be consistent, even though we're in a new place, new time zone, etc. So all I wrote on my daily action item sheet was morning routine. And as long as I know what that means, it doesn't mean I have to do everything perfectly, but if I read my daily stoic and fill out my gratitude journal, like that's my morning routine. And if I do all the other stuff around that, that's great too, but that's the structure of it. And then getting up with enough time to enjoy my morning before it's time to sit down and work is another big piece of it. All right, my next daily action item is to text a friend every single day. And this is also a carryover from, I think it was April, where I checked in and said, hey, how are you doing, to a friend every single day. And I just loved this. I loved being able to connect with friends and thinking of different friends. Like, yeah, there's friends I talk to every day, but thinking of some of those other people in my life that I hadn't talked to in a few weeks and just asking how they're doing, especially as things are constantly changing now. It's nice to see how they're doing, which 2 months ago when I asked might be totally different. And the next one is a carryover, and that is water. And you'll notice that I didn't write ×5. I still need to have 5 in order to get the goal, but I actually think that this one's gonna be easier. And the reason is we are going to a place with a fridge thing where the ice is so much easier to get because it's right there in the fridge. The ice and the ice cold water, like That is a miracle. One of the biggest struggles I had this month with my water goal is we would forget to fill up the ice trays, and then I would have to drink not ice cold water. And I like my water ice cold. And so then I wouldn't drink it all because I didn't enjoy the taste of it. And I know there are lots of other ways that I can make water taste better. I like plain water. I just need it to be cold. And so the fact that we are going somewhere with an ice machine fridge is going to make all the difference. All right, the next daily action item is the only one that is new, like one that is not a carryover from a prior month and not a repeat, and that is a social media daily limit. So if you didn't know, the iPhone has a feature where you can set a limit on basically any app that you want. And once you've hit that limit, it goes gray and the app becomes gray. And you can override it and say, oh, I want to spend 1 more minute. I want to spend 15 more minutes. I want to ignore the limit for the rest of the day. But you have to consciously think about it. And so what I want to do is set a daily limit on social media. And if I hit it, then I'm done. And so if I hit it, that's okay. As long as I don't overwrite it, then I get my check mark. And my goal, I haven't quite figured all this out yet, is I'd like to inch it back as we go through the month. So I want to look at my averages right now, and whatever kind of the average is, I'm going to go a little bit below that and make that for the first week. And then if I do a good job, it's kind of like if you have an Apple Watch, you know, when you do it consistently for a week and it wants you to up your goal, I'm going to do the opposite. So if I do it consistently for a week, then I might drop it by a half hour or something. I don't know, I'm just throwing out numbers, and then see if I can consistently do it that, and then drop it even lower. But I'm really excited about this. This was always the goal that I was kind of working up towards with the social media quarterly focus. And so I'm finally digging in, and hopefully being down at the coast and spending time outside will help in general. Like that's, I think being outside for a few hours on Saturday and Sunday should help with that. But I'm excited to have like an actual numerical goal that I'm working towards. And then the last one is a carryover from last month, and that is the social media plan. So the Plan with Lakin social media plan. I need to set up the one for June still, but I'm planning to do the same thing I did for May and just consistently post Monday through Saturday on all the different platforms and then take Sunday off. All right, let's quickly switch to top-down mode so I can show you how I took all of my goals and put them into my calendar. So this is the monthly layout that is part of my power sheets, and I have figured out how much time I have in June to work on my goals. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I did a whole video on how I plan my schedule and how I determine how much time I have to work on my goals. So go check out that video if you're confused. But in this video, I'm just going to take the goals that I have set for the month and move them into my calendar. Now, I almost didn't do this, truthfully, because I was talking to somebody about like procrastination and time management. And one of her recommendations was, instead of having a set thing that you do at a set time, just have it be a block of time and a list of options of things that you can work on. And I was really tempted to try that out this month, but I think I'm going to wait and do it in a future month because there's just so many other things changing this month that I decided to go ahead and keep this the same. And especially because some of these things are either one needs to come before the other one or they're time sensitive. So like starting with the website updates, that has to happen by June 10th. So I'm going to take those 3 hours and split them up before June 10th. The other thing I did learn last month, I talked about this in a weekly vlog, was I am better off actually splitting things up into 1 hour chunks. So instead of doing one full thing for 2 hours, I'm better off doing 2 1-hour things. Now, I think if there were things like memory keeping where I'm pulling out a lot of supplies, maybe that's not necessarily true. But for things that are easy supply wise, which is everything else, I'm gonna do just 1 hour. So for the website, I will do this 1 hour here, and then I'll do 1 hour on Saturday. And then I think I'll do this 1 hour on Monday. And I should probably label that this is the Plan with Lakin website because I have both this website and the wedding website on my goals list this month. So the other thing I'm debating is breaking up the photos into half hours because I don't know that I can sit and go through the photos on my phone for an hour. Like that seems like a lot. So I think I'm gonna do that in half hour chunks. However, I know that that makes things difficult with the other goals because those I don't necessarily want to break up into half hour chunks. So that's kind of a pain, actually, now that I think about it that way. Okay, maybe I'll do some of them in half hours and some of them in full hours. Like, so if I do on Sundays, if I do half hour of photos and then 1.5 of the online class and do that consistently, that gives me 2 hours of the photos, So I still have 2 hours left of going through photos. So let's just pick some random ones. You can tell that I am not as excited about this because I've moved it from month to month. Like I moved it from year to year. It was on last year's goal too. And then, okay, so now I'm gonna do the wedding stuff because the online course can kind of just fill itself in. The wedding stuff has to also happen in a particular order because I really need to do the hotel and the registry before moving on to the website. So let me put the hotel here, get that done. And then let me do the registry here. And what did I say? Just an hour for the website? Yeah. I'll put it here, I guess. So then the rest would just be my online class. I'm just gonna write OC for online class. So that's gonna be the rest of it. And on that one, you know, if I don't get all 15 hours in, like that's okay. The rest of it is really more of the priority, but I think that's how it's gonna shake out this month. All right, that's it. Those are all my goals for June, and I'm excited. I am excited that we are gonna have a change of scenery, and hopefully I can still make a lot of progress on my goals, but while getting in some relaxation and some fresh air. Let me know down in the comments what is one thing that you accomplished in the month of May that you're super proud of. It can be super tiny, any little thing that you did to make progress towards your goals in May. I want you to let us know so that we can celebrate together. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Happy planning that I consistently do on a consistent basis. That's really repetitive. My face is super itchy, but I don't want to mess up my makeup. So like starting with the wedding, All right, let's see if we can get through the outro before the battery dies. I'm glad that Charlie's cleaning herself while I'm trying to take a thumbnail picture.